Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the WASD and Beyond podcast. I'm your host, Nick, and neither of these guys are Evan. Evan is sick with Ebola or some shit. I have no fucking idea what he's dying of this week. But I got two of the build bros. I got my good friend Logan and my new friend Lewis here. Before I get into the sponsors, do you guys want to plug Build Bros and your personal build pages?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can just go first for the Bill Bros. Yes, we are on, of course, all terms of audio media for our podcast and stuff like that. We also post with Spawn Camp on the Spawn Camp YouTube page. Our Instagram handle is Build Bros US. Mine is Zealous Hanger US .us, and Lewis can give his.
My handle on Instagram is Dark Zero Builder, and you can find me there in all my builds.
Fuck yeah. So yeah, please check out all their builds, man. These are the guys who got me into building. I got a Barbatos that's literally right above my head on my computer. I just did a build today because these guys, I have plastic coming out of my ass now. Ridiculous. My wife is like, where the fuck are you going to put all this? But I'm building it. Yeah, I don't have plastic like that, though. God damn. Lewis and Logan are
Ask for
madmen.
forgiveness, you know what I'm saying? We'll
God
figure out a place to put
Ask for
them.
damn.
forgiveness and balance the pendulum with
Yeah.
Prada bags and Michael Kors bags and all that shit.
It'll even itself out eventually, I'm sure. Fucking.
You take it to vacation in Salem, that's at least like 20 kids. Come on.
I'm stoked for Salem. But yes, as Logan said, we are a part of the Spawn Camp Network. You can find myself and Evan on the WAC and Beyond podcast, Brody and Jeff on Diggity Podcast, and Logan, Lewis, Copley, and Alex that are a part of the Build Bros podcast. And all of us are a part of OBO, which eventually everyone's going to be in rotation for that. And I'm sure Lewis, Logan, Copley are going to, and Alex are going to bring some fucked up shit to the table for OBO. And I hope I don't get anyone in trouble with their wives or girlfriends. It's a hectic, hellish show to be a part of. Lewis is stoked already, and Logan is too.
Dude, my girlfriend doesn't watch YouTube. I'm safe.
Yeah, same. But yeah, check out all the shows on the Spawn Camp Network all week long. You get content from us, and it's never ending. We're constantly trying to figure out more things to do. Please check that out. Before I go into what we're talking about today, this episode is proudly sponsored by Final Boss Clothing. I'm wearing the Mortal Kombat shirt. Unfortunately, you cannot see it because I washed it like an asshole improperly, and it's fucked up. So I fucked this shirt up bad, but it is the Final Boss Mortal Kombat shirt. And we are also sponsored by Doc Longy. Doc's got, I think it's too late by now, but he just did a Nas t-shirt and a Mac Miller shirt and a Mob Deep shirt. So if you missed him, I'm sorry. He's got some cool shit on the way that I've seen, and you're not going to want to miss this next drop. It's fucking insane. Those are the sponsors. We're all part of Spawn Camp. Build Bros X WASD tonight for this awesome
Hell yeah.
topic. And this is a movie. The minute I saw it get spoken of, it confused me because I'm like, what the fuck is this, right? Because we're gonna talk about Prey today, by the way. I'm just gonna get that out of the way. When I first saw the title Prey, I was like, okay, what is this? Like, are we gonna have some time hopping shit? Like, is this a Predator movie? Is this an Alien and Predator movie? And then it's just a Predator movie, prequel almost, that like shows the Predators coming to fucking Earth, or a Predator hunting on Earth. It's insane what they did with this movie. I'm so happy with the outcome. I don't want to get too far into it right now, but all fucking praise goes to this movie. Its director, the fucking actors, actresses, fucking Amber Mid Thunder as Naru,
The
the
dog.
dog, of course.
Yes.
But all praise to Amber Mid Thunder as Naru in this film. Holy fuck, she's amazing.
Yes, she is.
Like, this movie kicks ass. Prey was a wild ride. Let's dive into it. We'll start with Lewis. Because when we brought Prey up earlier on the Discord, you're like, that fucking movie, yeah. What did you
Yeah.
think about Prey? Or what was your expectations going into Prey? You said you're a big Predator fan.
Mhm.
So what was your expectations when you first saw the trailer for this film and then going into the film itself?
I was kind of spectacle and afraid and all the emotions I can begin to say because, well, we had Predators that
Yeah.
was okay. Then we got all the Alien versus Predators that I don't know why, goddamn they fucking made it because those movies sucked.
I can't believe they
And
made those movies,
then
yeah.
and then they made that Predator movie, and I was like, wait, what's this? I mean, not because of the kid with the illness and everything. I don't want to bring up that flag and shit, but it didn't do. I mean, they tried to implement the stuff like, oh, the main character is like Arnold, but
Yeah.
nobody can fill those shoes. That Predator, the first movie, 1987. By the way, that's the year I was born. So, yeah, right there. It's a movie that you cannot repeat or remake or nothing. And Prey is not a remake, is not a repeat, but goddamn, it doesn't walk besides Predator, the first movie.
Oh yeah.
Side by side, the tension not as quite as like the first Predator, but
The tension's
it
quick.
was there.
It's not that
Yeah.
long
Yes.
drag that there's moments in
Yeah.
the original Predator. It's a lot
It's
more quick and fast paced.
and it's not like Predator.
Era.
It's not like Predator. The first movie, everybody was like,
Yeah.
and
There's
then you
like
got
a
the
40
camera
second-
panning into the trees and
Yeah.
trying to look for. And this one, it was like, yo, if I can say 4 or 5 times they panned in the trees,
Yeah.
and only once you saw the Predator in the trees, and I was like, yo, okay, they didn't like put that in your face, and he's like, here, shove it all the shit. This movie was fantastic. I am mad that they didn't go straight to theaters or it didn't have a big budget as Hollywood's supposed to, but this is a big stepping stone on what they can do next. And if they have the same director, I mean, unfortunately they can't have the same actors because time jumps and
Yeah.
all this shit. But if they have the recipe, if they could make another fucking Meatloaf the same way they did right now, I'm thinking Prey 2 will do great in the theaters. Everybody will go. It's like Top Gun.
Yeah.
Like the Maverick did 1.5 billion freaking dollars
Gangbusters.
on a movie that came out in 1980 something. I'm like, I mean, because you got all those fans, those like my wife, 45.
He's not
he's
here
a
today.
diehard.
Evan.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah,
here
it's-
today, but Evan is a diehard Top Gun
Oh,
fan.
yeah.
That movie came out
And
and he was recommended it to everyone. You got to go see it. You got
Yeah.
This is my third time going to the theaters to see it. You got to
Insane.
go.
and I did not like the first Top Gun. I mean, it was toyish with all the all the cameras going like this,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it didn't feel like a real dog fight, if you know what I mean. But when I saw this one, I mean, you got the CGI and all
Yeah.
that shit. God, yo, I was like racing to the sea. I was like, pull up, nigga, pull up. Sorry, I didn't want to say that, but
Bro.
pull up.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
But I was like, yo, it had me grabbing, and then beside me, my wife is. I'm like, oh my god.
I think you're on to. Fuck man, I'm cracking up. I gotta get Lewis on this shit more. When you brought up replicating or remaking, that's a great point because I think a lot of people could look at a film like this and immediately go, they're trying to take the same formula. Well, yes, they did take a lot of the same formula, but they expanded upon it and they made it quicker, like Logan said as well. It's a lot more fast-paced, and the Predator 1 and 2 are staples, in my opinion. Danny Glover in Predator 2 is phenomenal. He's no Arnold, but it's still fucking Danny Glover.
Yeah.
In a concrete jungle. Fucking beautiful. So,
Mm-hmm.
seeing the quickness of this film and the emphasis on the word prey is something I will definitely want to touch on with you guys very shortly throughout this review. But you're absolutely fucking right. Like, this was not a replica. This was not a remake. This wasn't just a lazily put out movie, because a lot of the other, like AVP, R, and whatever other one came out.
Requiem.
Yeah. Those were trash. They were stupid. None of it made sense. It treated the audience like they were a bunch of fucking morons. This movie did not do that. It didn't fucking do it in the slightest. And that was important to me. Watching all that shit transpire the way it does.
I can say that if one word could, tie everything up, this movie was an homage
Yes.
to Predator.
Absolutely.
100%.
Like, hands down, you have to see it. I recommend it. Not 100%, 1,000,000%. I'm like, there's gonna be people that criticize it, but if you're a true fan, if you're a thing, it brought tears in my eyes because I was like, this is the Predator that we needed after Predator 2.
Yes.
This was the Predator that we needed after Predator 2. And
That's what we fucking
unfortunately,
got.
it took a long time, but
Yeah.
we got it.
So, Logan.
Yeah.
Are you, before we get into your thoughts, are you a big fan of the Aliens and the Predator movies and even AVP as like a concept? Because AVP as a concept, phenomenal. I don't know how Hollywood keeps fucking it up. It's just like how they fuck up every video game movie or show,
Right.
minus The Witcher and possibly The Last of Us coming out. So,
Right. Yeah. No. So
yeah.
on the opposite side, a little bit. I watched the Predator and the Alien and the AVP movies growing up. I personally actually prefer the Alien side, and it wasn't because of the action or the way the movies were shot, but more lore based.
Yeah.
I love the lore of the aliens a lot more. I
Geiger.
love the just you know me. I love horror. I love
Yeah.
gore and all that stuff. So like a species that invades other planets that basically just infect hosts and then breed with them and make subspecies and just keep replicating and making mutant versions of itself is so cool. Like watching the evolution, how quick they evolve. Like just watching the alien lore is so much more interesting. Not saying that by any means the predator lore is not. I love the idea of a species that's literally just revolved around conquering the highest bidder, essentially.
Hunting,
And
that's
just
all it is. Yeah.
and just finding the high, and that's to your point, which we'll touch on soon, is that idea of seeing those moments of prey in the movie relating back to their culture and their lore of them being that hunter and that kind of like headhunter culture, essentially.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I preferred Alien, just in terms, like I said, the lore. However, I haven't seen an alien movie that I'd want to rewatch as many times as this movie, and this movie didn't have a single alien in it.
Yeah.
Like I would probably, like I told you before the stream, I would stream this week for anyone who didn't miss it in the Discord. I'll probably, when my girlfriend gets back from visiting her sisters, I'll probably watch it with her. I think it's just the perfect way that Lewis put like an homage, because there's moments in the movie where if you know about the story,
Oh, yeah.
there's moments where you're like, ah, that's a reference or that's a
Mhm.
reference. But at the same time, you could go in there not knowing jack shit about Alien vs Predator, and that is just a solid monster movie on its
Yeah.
own.
Yep.
I would honestly
And all the
say,
homages don't, like, it's not like something that's brought up where it's like you don't know this, you don't know what the fuck's going on now. All the homages are subtle, where it's just a part of the movie.
Yeah.
You don't need to remember anything or know something to remember its There's the moment with the pistol and the name on the pistol, but that's not like
oh, I didn't know if you were going to bring that up. I'm happy you did.
that's not like high level relevance in terms of like the movie on its own. For the
Yeah.
fans, it's like, you know, what's going to happen in the future, because that's a symbol of something
That's,
that might come up later. But if you don't care about that stuff, that doesn't matter. The movie on itself still amazing to watch.
I would say, to your point, if you are new to this franchise of films, this is a good start. Watch Prey. If you've never seen a Predator film,
It's a prequel
It
to your
is.
point. So it's like,
just
yeah, it's
start
pretty
with Prey. Literally start with Prey. There is an Easter egg that Logan discussed where there's a spoiler territory here. There is a pistol that is taken at some point. That pistol,
technically given.
it's yes, technically in Predator 2, Danny Glover's character finds that pistol on the Predator
Mm-mm.
ship. No, who had that pistol?
No, it was the leader of the Predator.
Thank you.
Needed
Yep.
to you know, he was doing the trial of becoming a hunter.
Yeah, he was a youngling.
And then since youngling, and since Danny killed him, his prize, the Predator, like the big head honcho was leaving, and he turned back and he's like, he looked, and the gun was telling him something.
Yeah.
Is a little cannon, and then the Predator goes and takes the gun and gives it to him, and he's like, this is your trophy.
Yep.
Of you know, being the hunter and being the top, you know, the top hunter in this basically world,
Right.
because you know,
you kill the Predator.
Yeah.
And their species is the Jayucha. That is the
You
predator's species.
want to hear my theory about what will happen with that weapon and tying back to the original Alien vs Predator?
I do, but thank you, Lewis, for catching me on that fucking slip up.
No.
I knew I was like, I knew I was going in
That's
weird
why I brought
water.
him in, bro, because I knew he was on his shit.
You know,
He
it's been
found-
so
he-
long since I've watched that movie.
The thing that he found that he took away from the Predator was the blade, the frisbee blade that he throws.
Yep.
That's the thing that he killed the Predator with.
Yep. But yes, Logan.
I think there's gonna be this weird thing that they may do, possibly. And this is like obviously a theory, but a cool idea, one could say. But that pistol obviously has to go back to the Predator race at some point.
Yes.
So in my head, and I hate to say it, she's gonna fucking die. And and when she dies, I think that predator that kills her after some epic battle is going to be that one who survives for these 300 years of that timeline, or 200, 250 years, however old she is when she perishes. But that's going to be that head honcho that goes into the original movie.
That would be awesome.
He keeps that on him as a recent trophy and passes it back because he knows that it was taken from the exact same species. So it's like the same species trophy.
So I would like that a lot, because a lot of people are speculating with the end credit. Again, spoiler warning, and we're kind of jumping ahead here. But this is all important to talk about. The end credit isn't necessarily a after credits scene. It's just like a drawing that you see. And
it's
the ship
back on the screen.
Yeah, the ship comes back, and in my head, people are like, "Oh, they come and wipe them out." No, that's not how predators work. They're gonna come in.
Predators.
Yes,
predators are supposed, even if the body is recoverable, they're going to go and get their kind, and then they're gonna bring them back, just like our army.
Yep.
When we go and we bring them back in a coffin, we have the flag all over them.
Yep.
That's how they do. That's how they do it. They're just, yeah.
Now,
It's all.
Will they wipe them out because they're gonna go and find that body? There's not gonna be a fucking head attached to it.
That's part of the trophy, though. So I'm assuming what they in their culture,
take that revenge, or would they respect that?
They would respect it.
No, they'll respect
because
that,
predators are headhunters. So their trophy is the entire head and spinal cord.
Yep.
So they're in their mind, they're going, "That's your trophy."
You respect, dog. Respect.
Exactly.
you see the GTA plus 100 respect come up.
100 respect earned. So I'm excited to see where that goes. But for another we'll talk about another film at the end of this episode. Let's continue on with the story and I want to touch on the Comanche tribe. That was a sick element. And this is the first movie, I believe.
I saw Native Americans in the trailer, I was like, I am interested in this.
None of it was whitewashed.
They're half.
Right. The Comanche are half.
No, the actors are, some of them are full-fledged Comanches, Native Americans, and some of them are half Mexican, half Native Americans.
Okay.
So that whole thing there, and some of the actors are, Mexicans, because they're the only race that resemble, the Native American back in the days. But I was taken that day, and this movie is in the Comanche,
language too, right?
Language too.
Yeah,
and I was like, wait,
it in that language.
What? I was like, get out of here. And I was like, yep.
Can you watch it in that language with English subtitles? Because I will do that.
Yes,
absolutely. That's my second watch through of it. Is going to be in Comanche.
Together? Because no one else is going to want to watch that.
Oh, I'm so down to watch that. It's going to sound fucking insanely awesome like that. And I think it's the first movie that did a dub where you can watch it in full Comanche or any Native American language like that. So that to me is fucking insane. I did crack up that in French, when they were speaking French, because again, you got the Comanches, you have the Native Americans, and then you have the French settlers or invaders coming through. And the French are just a bunch of shitheads. It's so funny.
They look like Vikings. They look like just scummy rat people.
They are scummy rat people. And
whoa.
they're rat people, whatever. Oui, mon ami. Whatever, dude. Fucking cheese-eating bastards.
Baguette.
We just lost all of our French listeners right then and there.
I love French people. I love French people. It was just a
Bonjour,
prank,
oui,
bro.
oui.
You do
It's
not.
only
It's
it's only
it's-
smells.
He's Italian. You do not want to smoke cigarette? The cigarette? No.
La
Oui,
fromage.
oui.
All right, we've lost the
Oh,
plot.
we've lost the plot.
Okay.
But so like you got the Comanches and the French, and you have Naru's almost spiritual journey and the hunt, like this great hunt she's trying to accomplish. And her brother is constantly upstaging her, not purposefully, but it's his job. He at one point becomes the war
Well,
chief.
it's his role because
his role, yeah.
back then
Every man,
she should not be a
yeah.
hunter.
So
A woman
That's
should not be a hunter. A woman should be what, you know.
her
Was that
mother
her
was
mom?
basically
All the
telling her.
women,
Was
yeah.
that her mom? I didn't know what the
Yeah.
relation was.
That was her
Okay, yeah,
mother.
like her mom was trying to teach her how to make medicine and gather herbs and study herbs. It was not.
Which
Go
comes to a
out- go
big
out and
fucking
hunt.
play.
Yeah.
You see it later on. Like the mother is right. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you want to be a hunter? That's cool, but
It's
you
adapting
need
to
this
both
too.
roles.
You
Yep.
need this.
Yeah.
And you know,
Adapting to
And
both roles and
she
being able
had
to use
both because she knew about the medicine and she knows how to hunt.
yes.
She's a
Well,
badass.
They displayed that as well because that guy got attacked and they found him. And when they found him, if she was not there, he would have died on the way.
Oh yeah,
back.
he would have died. Yep.
Because none of them had any knowledge on medicine.
So right from the get-go, Naru is highly important. I mean, it's obvious that she's gonna be our focus here. But it's interesting to see how much they do focus on her brother. They do focus on the tribe ethics as well, and
Mhm.
like the politics of the tribe. It's very short, but if you're paying attention, there are some
I'd
serious
say
politics.
in total time, maybe of the entire movie, 5 minutes total time actually are in the grounds of the
Yes.
camp.
Which is
Yep.
fucking perfect timing. That's
But you get the
great
full idea.
pace.
You get everything you need to know.
Yep.
Everything, all information wise, you understood from those shots. You didn't need anything more.
Now, there's a couple things when it comes to this great journey that she's going on. There is a word for it that I am not going to try to say. I'm not going to be able to pronounce the word correctly. I just know I'm not going to.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, I'm not trying it because that's
You want to give it a shot, Lewis?
Nah, I'm good.
Lewis-
I'll butcher it, and this movie can't. No, I'm not
Lewis
gonna
said
go
I'm
straight
straight.
I
with
refuse.
my.
He said
I'm
to do
straight.
it.
I
dude.
can't even. I barely can get my vocabulary right because everything comes out good here, but when it comes out, I'm like, okay, no, I'm good.
But so that's the main focus. She is going to go on this great fucking spiritual awakening, this journey, and show everybody
almost
I
feel
am the
like-
hunter.
Sorry to cut you off. It's
you're
almost
good.
like from what I can tell, at least from the men's side, like they're rite of passage to manhood.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely it is.
But so
Absolutely.
and that's why there's like that weird tension because it's like, why are you trying to
Be a
become
man.
come into that
Yeah.
manhood with us when like your role is to not do that.
And
Your
But like,
role is to.
she doesn't care about the being a man. Like that it's that like
she's
you
just
said, that
proving
whole-
herself, dog.
It's her own internal spiritual journey that she's on. She could care less about the tribe's aspect of it.
Yeah, because you can see it. When the brother brings her back when she, her chance to prove herself,
Yes.
she
She gets knocked
she
the fuck
fell
out.
in there. So that morning, the brother, oh, he's still sleeping, and the mom wakes her up. Hey, you got to do your duties, and that is go make breakfast and for all the men to eat, and go and get the food that is for today.
Yeah.
For
Yep,
they
and
can
she
go on
tried
that
to,
hunt.
She tried to get up and run to go back to the hunt, and
Yeah.
she's like, "You're sitting here, and we're gonna make some medicine together until morning, and you're gonna drink this tea and just shut up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, and while all that's happening with the tribe, the predator, this youngling, which let's talk about the tech really quick that this predator has.
Loved it.
There are some similarities to current predator tech with the wristband, and you do
And
have
the sensor on the side. I wish
mask.
that wasn't. The mask was cool. That's fine.
yeah, I like that.
It's more the sensor on the side with the darts, the tracking darts.
Yeah.
that was a little bit too advanced in my opinion for everything else that it had in its arsenal, and that is like that thing looks like it was ripped off of the one that's from 300
Well,
years
also
in.
though, you gotta take account for it. Look how this motherfucker arrives though. Look at that ship they arrive on.
I
You know
agree.
what I
I
mean?
guess I like to say all in on each aspect. Like if you're either gonna have all this bone armor and these bone and primitive style weapons, or you're going to have like your ship
Here's
more
my theory. Here's my
metal
theory.
style
This youngling has this youngling armor.
armor, and he
It's
hasn't.
basic, like, hey, you need to earn
Yeah,
your stripes. He
I
is on a
agree. Okay.
spiritual quest as well.
Yes, 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 yes,
You
yes.
need
I
to
agree
come
with
back with trophies. You need to show that you can hunt. When you hunt, you can become a part of whatever clan that is on our home planet.
I guess I wish we could have seen, like, even if it was like,
A
quick
glimpse.
a 5 second clip when he's dropping out of the ship. If maybe
An
his,
elder predator.
his elder is like wishing him luck, and you can see that armor
Oh my god!
difference.
Or
So
like
you
a
can,
ritual of sorts, like something
yeah,
like where they're like side to side in a hand and like a
that's what I'm saying.
bow,
Yeah, yeah,
something
but
like
just so
that.
you can
They
see what that elder looks like, just so you can, because you might be, I would probably agree that you're 100% correct, but I would have loved to them just even like I said, 5 seconds of just showing that off. You're like, that makes sense why his armor looks like this. However, their ship is high tech, so he deserves some form of high tech to have the
Right.
advantage because they are the predator.
Right.
they touch it on Predator. That
The original.
no, they touch it on that new one with the Predator killer suit and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
That once you make your first kill, your first big kill, that honorable, that you find your worthy prey, and
Essentially,
you
would have been her.
you know you get a cannon.
Yeah.
And he had the backpack and everything, but he
Oh, the
didn't
over
have the
shoulder
cannon.
cannon.
No
Yeah, yeah,
cannon.
yeah, yeah.
He did. You once you get your first kill, then you have the right to
So,
get the
like
cannon.
to your point, Nick, like 10 trophies, they finally give you a new full suit of honor or armor or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
see that.
And
Yeah,
also
yeah.
it depends what clan they're a part of, because there's multiple clan. I don't know
Yes.
how deep in lore they want to go with it, but if they go deep, please do. But there's multiple clans that are part of this predator race as well on this homeworld. There's and they're not warring by any means. I know there are predators that are rogue, and they are shitheads basically.
Yeah.
But like
Mhm.
this seemed like a down to I guess at this point Earth predator that's like, hey, I'm earning my stripes. I'm becoming a
Yeah,
man now.
he's like your run of the mill soldier who's going through boot camp.
Exactly.
Yep.
So this was his first test, or not his
He's
first
doing
test because he'd already
he's doing
hunted.
his job essentially.
Yeah.
The
So
only gripe I have is that, like what Logan said, the technology was way too advanced to be a prequel on what the Predator had in the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. If the scene was when they were in the dust scene, and then he did what he did, and he was patching himself up. He was patching himself up with a laser.
yeah,
And then the original Predator, 1987, that dude was patching himself up with he crunched up all this little
yeah, he had
thing,
like a
and
bunch of shit.
yeah, he
sprinkled it, yeah.
basically he hit himself with a antibacterial, so he
Yeah.
won't get infected. And then he used a staple
Yep.
to staple his, wounds. And when this Predator was doing that, I was like, I mean, if this is a prequel, why didn't that Predator have the same kind of tech in
Right.
Predator 1? I mean, and that's the whole thing when the dude got cut. I mean, not cut. He got shot because when they did that scene in the first Predator, my favorite fucking scene, when they blasted that whole freaking jungle.
Yes.
Yeah, and they only shot him. They only grazed his leg, and he goes and nobody knows it. No, the only person who saw it was the woman.
Yeah.
So when he was like stapling himself and he did that scream and everybody was like, yo, what the fudge was that? Like, what the hell? And I was waiting for that kind of moment that,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that they didn't bring it up. They did their own flair about it, but that would have been another
even still
homage
on
to,
that primitive, on that primitive level, even more of an homage, like going back to even less technology, like using
The
a
goo?
suture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe like having a part of his wrist armament that popped open and it was like a miniature suture kit on the fly,
Yeah.
and he could have just sutured himself up because that's that more primitive version of using. He's not using any antibacterial and
No
he's not using any
Yeah.
full.
lasers.
Yeah, he's just stitching it up. Like that's that homage that you kind of want.
Yeah.
And also that primitive level. And I definitely agree with that because and I even said it was before we joined. I said it to Nick, but like the CGI for it also just looks so weird. Like it looked like he was spraying Cool Whip into his wounds, and
Yeah.
like I don't know. And it was weird too. He lifted his head like he was going to do the classic
And
screech,
there
and
wasn't
it just cut, and he just raised his head back down. And I was like,
a
so
classic
Yeah.
close,
scream right
like
there would
so
have been
close.
sick.
Yeah, like that, like whatever that stuff is, that freezing gel or agent, whatever it was. Like if that stuff was just like instantly freezing the entire surface around
Yes.
that area and you're in like agonizing pain to let out that scream, but like he just kind of lifted his head up and then looked back down and
Yeah.
it cuts to morning and you're like, oh.
This Predator is a tough son of a bitch though, man.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like that is that's such nitpicky stuff, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a 3-second clip out of an entire hour and 46 long movie.
Dude,
Mhm.
let's oh man. So let's get into some CGI talk and let's talk about the kills. There's one specific kill that I want to bring up after we talk about the CGI.
A favorite kill each sounds kind of fun.
I am
like
so
that.
down for that. I'm so down. Then
Alright,
we'll
let's get
end the
into it.
episode off with
I
final
know
verdicts.
my
and-
favorite kill.
We'll end the episode off with final verdicts and just our hopes for the next one. Lewis, what's your favorite kill, homie?
When he grabbed when he grabbed the dude against the tree, and then dude was like, "I got my knife. I got my knife. What you gonna do?" And then he just looks at him like, "Nigga, what?" And then bling, I'm like, "Oh, yo, the best shit ever." And
Dude, he cut the
you
tree
know
with
that,
it.
and you know, want to know something? I don't know if you knew, but the director is a big God of War fan.
That's dope.
And that's why he put the shield, because you know Kratos has that shield in the new God of Wars, and then he wanted to put like a Kratos type of
Like a vibe almost.
Yeah, and I loved it what they did, and that kill was my favorite.
Fuck yeah.
I know it probably was yours too. You were gonna say it.
Nope,
You
I
were gonna
got
say
I
it.
got some a bit different.
Okay,
Logan.
all right.
So one of mine was that kill because I liked it from a different aspect of not him being like, "What the fuck, you have a knife?" when I know I have better technique. But I liked it from a point of he almost turned his head like he was studying, and like just kind of like figuring out like I've seen this before and I know it's not doing shit.
Yeah.
Goodbye. And one of my favorite kills comes from him learning that is the first encounter with the two Native Americans.
Yes.
The first hand-to-hand duel. They were fucking him up for a second, and like you actually thought that they had him. They were like chanting, and they were really just like going back and forth, tackling him back and forth. And he started to learn and started to adapt. And my favorite kill by far was, first of all, he threw the guy and he survived and he Wilhelm screamed. No one Wilhelm screams and survives. So the fact that he survived and ran back to come back to the fight and then immediately got both of his legs sawed off and in midair got impaled to the log on the ground, that kill. I'm a big fan of over gore and over dramatized kills. And like you see him literally get swiped and his body floats like slow motion and just stabbed right through the tree. It was so cool.
Oh,
and
man.
the fight just cuts to end and it's just dead silence. And you're like, he fucking got you guys.
Dude, that shit was insane. So
give it to me, Nick. Give it to me.
One of my favorite scenes in this film, or before my favorite kill, they're running through a field. And the Predator is on their ass. And you just see a dude in the fucking tall grass just get ripped apart. And the blood and the viscera is just in the air. And then just like the weight actually hits in the scene and goes boom. All the disgusting, beautiful gore is just all over the grass.
It's like this perfectly golden field,
Oh
and there's just this giant puddle of red in the middle.
It's
of
something
it.
you'd see out of a samurai flick.
Yep.
And you know what? That's another homage to Predator Predators when they
the
did
samurai
the samurai thing. It
it-
was a field,
Yep.
and
Most disappointing scene ever. I was so expecting him to win, and it hurt my soul watching that happen.
Just
to
I
him.
mean,
dead.
he did win. I mean, it's a
It was a draw at that
it's
point,
a
right?
draw. You know, yeah.
I will say, quick tip topic or sidetrack to what you said, Nick. Like the whole different clans. Just personal opinion, the Predators clan that they use, favorite.
I do like that Predators clan from the movie
Oh my
Predators.
god, they are some cool ass dudes.
Dude, all the different tech. But my favorite kill, there's a heavy emphasis on in the film. You start to see a lot of snare traps, bear
Yes.
traps, fox traps. It's
Oh,
used
I-
quite a bit. It's
I
used
know what-
quite a bit in this movie, and there's a lot of foreshadowing. These French motherfuckers think they have this predator on the ropes, and they're trying to kick its ass, and all of a sudden you see this motherfucker running, and this bear trap just flies, lands on dude's head, and goes boom.
On his head, it was like right in the face.
Dude, it just tore his fucking head in half, and he's just done.
And you know that's another homage. That scene was another homage. The one that you said that he does the bear trap,
Yep.
and then they hold him together.
Yep.
And then when he falls back, his hand gets bear trapped again, and then they put the net. You know that's the Predators in the first one.
Yep.
When they make and you hear the squeaking, and because he took the playback audio of the pig.
Yeah.
When the guy was gutting the pig, he took that and he was screaming like a pig. And I was like, "Ooh, that's another reference from the first
Gorgeous.
movie right there."
It was gorgeous.
But yet again, something that if you didn't know that, fucking cool kill just to watch.
Yeah,
without
cool kill.
context.
Oh yeah.
But the people, the hardcore people, I had a smirk when I saw that. I was like, "God damn it!"
But also another point of them learning that technology, they studied that. They saw because she got caught in it and she got out of it, and then he was just sitting there.
He was there
just
the entire
disappeared.
time.
And then he just
followed
disappeared.
to camp. She knew she knew he followed her to camp. I was like, what the fuck? And that was this predator is intelligent too, and I love that. All of them are usually, but this predator was a young predator. It was intelligent. Whatever. So the CGI, we don't have to touch too deep on it. I thought for what budget they had, and that it was direct to Hulu.
With you guys telling me that this wasn't a Hollywood budget, I'm more impressed now.
Well, let me check the budget before we go too deep in. Movie.
And I was talking about Logan about I'm like when he was in the cave and like he heard the dog, and he goes like when he was doing the coyote's head when he was like dissolving the flesh and everything.
Oh, that was sick.
And he heard the dog.
Very cool technology.
Yeah, and then he heard the dog, and then he got up, and then he that silhouette, and then he went camouflage. Another 45 minutes on whatever Photoshop program they were using, and I would have liked a smooth transition into not like. If you see it and if you like go slow-mo, you'll see it. It's like blocky. It's like it starts with his head, then it goes to the shoulder. And I was like, But I'm like, okay, it was just a Hulu thing, so I'm not gonna criticize it that much. It's not Hollywood. I've seen worse movie that come from Hollywood and their CGI sucked. So okay.
I'm trying to find the budget for this film, and I can't find it for some reason, which is whatever. I know that this film does not have a typical Hollywood budget, though. If I had to speculate, it doesn't. But for what we get, like I said, the CGI was for this movie. I'm fine with it because even the campiness of some of it and the cheesiness, it's a Predator film. I'm cool with that. I want it. I'm okay with it.
Overly campy or like corny like Predators. I love Predators because it's gore packed. It's almost like the pacing is identical to Prey.
Yeah.
It's fast paced. Everyone's sprinting around trying not to die. There's some brief moments of sitting and hiding behind trees to have a moment of breath, but then it's right back to action.
Yes.
And that was very much like Predators. So
But that movie wanted to be like the first one so
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 bad.
bad.
Yeah.
For sure.
Even at the last fight scene where he takes and he like lights up every fire and he like uses that camouflage. I mean that advantage of everything's
Everything's hot.
a
Red.
flame and he's using that. I'm like, yo, why are you being so? I'm like, and then when I saw this movie, I'm like, okay, they're being like the first one, but at the same time, it's a whole different type of movie,
Right.
and they just took a little nitpicks, and they're like, again, your boy was Logan's boy was like, oh, I didn't like it because they the muddy scene. Hey, when she goes on the quick mud and she's
Yeah.
like sinking and she right there I was like, oh my god, don't tell me that the predator's gonna fall.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're gonna do that as the same kind of scene as the first one, and I was like, please don't do that. And when they cut off to her like cleaning the axe, I'm like, thank god,
Yes.
thank god, thank god they didn't go that route, because I was like, please just be your own movie, don't try to
And that was like a little wink.
copy
It was like
paste.
a little wink. It wasn't like a full on like,
Yeah.
oh, you got the reference right. We tried to make a reference. It was more just a subtle like wink, like, oh, we almost had you. You almost
Yep.
thought that we did that.
But the
And
homage,
I love that.
the homage to Arnold putting the mud on him. This is where we're about
Yes.
to end off on this review right now. The homage to Arnold putting the mud on him so the Predator's thermal cannot see him. With her taking the medicine that cooled her blood down. Mwah.
Instantly when she gave all that medicine to that kid,
Yep.
and then he started shivering, I'm like, and then when they're taking it and the guy was gonna like wrap the dude so he was like, oh, he's shivering, he's cold. And then she goes like, well, the medicine is cooling his blood so the bacteria and infection won't spread that fast, because and I was like, I bet she's gonna that's what she's gonna take the thing. And oh, that scene when she was like waiting and the guy was like, oh, I'm gonna shoot you, but it wasn't loaded. And then the predator came. I'm like, oh, she used the medicine. I was like, yeah,
It was
boy.
such a cool scene too, because when I saw that scene, I was looking in the perspective of the Frenchman, and like, can you imagine being that Frenchman invading a land, and now you don't have a short life, but in that moment, you're like the Native Americans have a predator, because
Yeah.
he walks right past her and then uncloaks.
Yeah.
So it's just them two basically standing next to each other.
Oh my god, yeah.
And like, just what's going through his mind, just like, I'm fucked.
Oh,
And that
yeah. This dude was
and that
like,
Frenchman that she gives medicine to because he got his foot cut off,
yeah.
and then he played dead. He was like, oh. and then the
Like
predator goes
Bosco.
like, bam, and squeezes, and she's like, ah, and then I'm like, yeah, that's what you get, you
The
stupid.
best was an accident
Ruthless.
too. 'Cause I thought he was gonna do it on purpose, like he was gonna see how the blood trail was warm still. Like, this dude might still be alive. Let me poke and
Yeah.
prod him. But he just straight up ignored him. He just accidentally stepped on his good leg, and it made him lean
Yes.
up. And he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're dead."
Yeah, insane. So
Any other? What's our ratings? Right? Our overalls.
let's start with Lewis because we're gonna wrap this shit up. So Lewis,
9.5.
9.5.
Look, that wasn't like he didn't even.
Didn't have to think about it.
9.5.
Logan,
What's yours, Nick?
No.
No, Nick. What's yours? You go for a second.
9.5. Absolutely.
I'm gonna give it a 9. Only reason why is I am not as much of a hardcore fan,
Gotcha.
and the reason why is the movie is better if you know the homages.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the homages, it's still a fun movie to watch.
Mhm.
It just makes it that much better. Like, I'm sure in the future someone will make a YouTube video that will have like here are all the homages that you missed, and you could watch the movie and then watch that and be like, oh, those are cool, and it would make the movie experience cooler. But if you're
Yeah.
just going into it with no context, still a good movie.
You're still
Yeah.
fucking fine.
9. Yep.
There's something in this film for everybody. If you're new to the franchise, start here. Start here with this movie. Work your way through the Predator films. Get into
Skip,
Alien.
What's it called? What's the one that we skip? We pretend don't exist.
The one where the kid has autism. The Predator wants like the autism. The kid, the kid
Predator.
in the movie,
Yeah.
the kid is
We were
autistic.
we were trying
try not to
so
touch that
good to not
subject
touch
because
No,
it.
we'd be like, oh, he criticized autism people.
I'm not criticizing autism. The kid has
We're not saying
autism.
you are, but people might think that.
Yeah,
Then fuck
because
them people.
we live in a world where you look at someone, oh my God, I have a boyfriend. Fuck, I'm married. I'm like, bitch, I'm looking beside you, shit.
But yeah, that Predator was stupid. The Predator was it was like Predator on the search for autism for some reason. That confused me.
And like illness aside, that has no correlation to why it was bad. It's the overall like that.
It was the theme of the film.
Whether it was Asperger's, autism, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. That whole plot was just so half-assed.
It was just stupid.
When I saw Peel in that movie, I was like, I don't think this movie's gonna be good. I don't think, because I knew he was gonna be the comic relief.
Yeah.
And then the ex Punisher, when he was, I was like, wait, now he wants to be like the,
that whole movie was trying to play like that.
Exactly.
That was a slapstick trying to like be something new and take the comedic, more lighthearted take. Like,
yeah,
it's fucking Predator, bro. It is a manhunting.
I want this to be dark.
It's a manhunting race that pulls your spine out of your corpse with your skull still attached. I don't want to see two comedians running around making half-ass jokes while they're getting chased by. Don't care.
The Predator fought fucking Judge Dredd. Predator fought Judge Dredd and Archie. I don't know what Archie has to do with Predator, but that happened. Anyways,
he's like, I'm not going to go off on that tangent.
No, that was strange. But yeah, we will. So out of everything, then the average on the show, we'll give it a 9.25.
Yep.
Watch this film. That's WASD and Build Bros saying, watch this fucking movie.
If we had Brody or Jeff on here, they would also, I'm sure, if they
guaranteed the Diggity Boys, once they watch it, will say the same thing.
That's Spawn Camp telling you.
Absolutely. Spawn Camp is
saying. And one more thing. I'm glad this movie was an hour and 40 minutes and not 2 hours and 20 minutes or 2 hours long, because it would have destroyed the movie. The movie would have been, because this has the right amount of lore. This has the right amount of suspense, pacing, everything. This was a absolute masterpiece.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
No, baby, you good. You are good, man. I am right there fucking with you on this. All right. Go see this movie, and while you're at it, listen to the Build Bros. When do you guys drop episodes, and what can you tell us about your next possible episode?
We did an episode this morning at 8 a.m., which was...
They are both very tired.
Our next episode is pretty cool. It was kind of a little bit off of I guess you could say like a quick change up, but we kind of discussed a little bit of touched on IVO a little bit, as well as went over some kits and things that we liked from that series and whatnot. I know Lewis, unfortunately Alex had to go to work right after, but Lewis, Copley, and I stayed on, and we have I think like 6 shows that are solidified and planned
for interviews.
No, just content, videos with all 4 of us and interviews, a little bit of mix of each. So, yeah, definitely look forward to doing those. So those are coming up. Copley's the mastermind of schedules and uploading, so I can't give you the exact date, but we recorded this morning, so there will be a new episode.
It'll be out Wednesday or Thursday, one of the two.
Awesome. So watch out for the Build Bros. You will hear this episode Friday. So before this episode comes out, you got the Build Bros, you got Diggity, you got an Off the Runner, possibly, I'm sure, right? If I'm not mistaken.
We might not have an Off the Runner just yet, but we do have 2 to 3 people
There's plans,
confirmed.
Sick.
And these people we have are international, some international people and some really awesome builders who are well known in the community.
So get ready for that, guys. And then while you're at it, again, check out the sponsors of the show. Doc Longy and FINALBOSS, always dropping heat, always a super limited shit. If you get a shirt, you get a pin. If you get any merch on these guys, it's made with love and it's limited. So get some merch. Till next week, guys. Take it easy. Be safe.
You too, buddy.
Love you guys.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.